Christine, how much does it hurt the WNBA when Caitlin Clark is out?
It is devastating to the WNBA when Caitlin Clark is.
Now, I know a lot of us were expecting some sort of dip since Caitlin Clark has been out with injury, but I don't think all of us were expecting the entire viewership of the entire WNBA to be down. And this tweet from Christine Brennan really stuck out to me. She said one player gets injured and more than half the TV audience for the entire league disappears. Has any other athlete ever had that kind of impact on a sport? Golf without Tiger definitely dropped precipitously on occasion.
The WNBA is facing some tough financial times, and a big reason is Caitlin Clark's absence. She brought a huge wave of excitement and attention to the league, but it seems like the league didn't do enough to keep her safe on the court. Now that she's injured, fan interest is fading and so is the revenue. It's becoming obvious that the league's leadership might not be keeping up, and their unwillingness to adapt is taking a toll every day.
And the truth is the truth, and the data is there. And what we saw when Caitlin was out the last time, the 5 games that she missed earlier in the season, the WNBA's viewership dropped more than 50%. Not just the Fever, but the entire...
Voice eat these days. It's hard to tell what's real and what's just hype, especially in sports. Take the WNBA, for example. When Caitlin Clark went down with a quad injury on May 24th, it became clear how much the league relies on her star power. Now she's out again with a groin injury, and the same problems are surfacing all over again.
Jumped to her groin likely because of compensation. But the thing that you have to be careful of is if, say, you try to rush her back from this injury as well, then you're getting into this territory where a very serious injury can happen. That is what the Indiana Fever, that is what Caitlin need to avoid the best that they possibly can. So if it means that Caitlin is out for 3 weeks, if it means that she is out all the way through all...
WNBA TV ratings have taken a big hit. Overall viewership is down 55%. And Indiana Fever games dropped by 53%. When Caitlin Clark played, those games drew around 1.81 million viewers. Without her, that number fell to just 847,000. The frustrating part, this drop was predictable. The league still hasn't figured out how to protect its biggest star.
Went down. The WNBA ratings have dropped over 55% across the board.
Hey, guess what, guys?
The league is Caitlin Clark.
The league is Caitlin Clark. She is the WNBA, guys.
Sidelined with a left quad strain May 24th, national TV viewership has plunged since then 55%. Before the injury, the Fever, her team, were averaging 1.81 million viewers, almost 2 million. Since her injury, fewer than 850,000.
Voice Caitlin Clark was packing arenas, breaking TV records, and driving more revenue than ever, but the WNBA failed to protect her, despite accounting for over 26% of the league's total economic impact. She was repeatedly targeted on the court with little response. Instead of taking real action, the league brushed it off with the usual excuse, it's just part of the game.
News is alarming for the league, and it's alarming for the league because this is such a crucial year for the WNBA. At the end of this season, the WNBA will go into CBA negotiations. If negotiations go well, then every single player in the WNBA has a much better chance of making so much more in their next contract. And that's one thing when you start thinking about how many people stopped watching when Caitlin Clark got injured. A lot of people stopped watching because they are boycotting the WNBA. They don't want to give viewership to any other teams or any other players, whether they like other players on the team or not, because of how the media and the league itself has handled Caitlin Clark and how they have treated.
What's most frustrating is that this isn't a new problem for the WNBA. Every time a top star goes down, the same thing happens. Ratings drop, revenue dips, and the excitement fades. And yet, here we are again, watching the same cycle repeat, like the league didn't learn anything the last time.
The thing about this is the fact that we are only a month into the regular season, and Caitlin Clark has already been out with 2 injuries. With the first one being her having to miss some time with a left quad strain. Now, of course, this is concerning because if you're already on your second injury, you don't want to be that player that is always hurt. Cough, cough, Embiid, cough, cough, Anthony Davis. So I really do hope that the Fever really sits her out right now for a while, only because you don't want her to have more long-term injuries and be more...
If you're enjoying this, be sure to subscribe. Caitlin Clark's absence has had an immediate financial impact. Ticket prices for Indiana Fever games have dropped by as much as 71%. Some fell from $860 to just $150 on average. Tickets for games she's missed dropped from $1,370 to only $80. That makes it pretty clear who's bringing fans to the WNBA. Even away games that were moved to big arenas for Clark are now struggling to fill seats. Take the recent Chicago Sky vs. Fever rematch. Ticket prices dropped from $110 to $95. Just weeks earlier, that same game pulled into point to 5 million viewers. One of the most watched in league history. Now, without Clark, most casual fans barely pay attention.
Man, bruh. Congratulations to the WNBA. Your ratings are going to drop by 55 to 60% once again. I believe the WNBA has successfully broken
Veteran sports journalist Christine Brennan, whose upcoming book on her game, Caitlin Clark and the Revolution in Women's Sports, explores Clark's influence, has been one of the most vocal critics of how the WNBA is treating its top star. In a recent column, Brennan highlighted how fans are noticing the repeated targeting of Clark on the court, and they're not happy. Her message is clear. Clark drives more than half of the league's TV viewership, yet she keeps taking hits that seem more personal than competitive, as Brennan put it. It's like a restaurant owner letting customers harass the chef, the one person keeping the place running.net.
As big a deal as Tiger was in men's golf, Keith, he did, and when he was gone, it affected the ratings, but nothing like that. And, Michael Jordan being out, maybe a 5 percentage points or something. Nothing like this. You can make a strong case, and I will make that case, and have that there is no one single athlete more important to his or her sport or tour or whatever the circuit is that they play on than Caitlin Clark is to the W.
It's a troubling pattern Caitlin Clark keeps taking. Hard fouls from players who seem more focused on sending a message than playing the game. Out of 30 flagrant fouls called in the WNBA this season, 5 were against Clark, 4 of them from the Chicago Sky alone. When she speaks out, she's called too aggressive. When she stays quiet, people say she's soft. Either way, she can't win, and the league still hasn't stepped in, and the fallout isn't just hurting the Indiana Fever. The WNBA was already projected to lose $50 million this year, even with the huge boost Clark gave the league. Now that she's sidelined, the losses are growing, TV ratings are falling, merch sales are slowing, and attendance is slipping back to pre-Clark levels.
I don't even know where to begin, man. I hope Caitlin Clark is okay. I want to know when this injury even happened, bro, because let's be serious here. She has the quad injury. Mind you, Caitlin Clark hadn't missed a game since she was like 19 years old, since she was like 18 in college or something. Now she has a groin injury. We've never seen Caitlin Clark play as bad as she played the last 3 games. Let's just be serious here. She's like 1 for 20-something on threes in the last 3. We've never seen her shoot the ball this way. I'll say that. Has she been hurt and playing through?
What's really frustrating is that all of this could have been avoided. Caitlin Clark entered the league as a humble, team-first rookie. She supported her teammates, avoided the spotlight, and responded to criticism with a level of maturity that's rare at 22. The WNBA had a golden opportunity to support her, protect her, and use her momentum to lift the entire league, but instead, jealousy and internal politics got in the way of what could have been a major turning point for women's basketball. And this isn't just about ratings or ticket sales anymore. Major sponsors who invested millions because of Clark are now having second thoughts. That points to a deeper problem. The WNBA still hasn't decided what kind of league it wants to be. Does it want to function like a serious professional sports organization, or keep chasing attention through drama and social media buzz? Because it can't have it both ways. Real leagues protect their stars and focus on the game. Everything else is just noise.
I admire about Caitlin, she's a warrior. She's tough. You hear me? Bruh, you just don't see players. You don't see female basketball players like her. I'm sorry. I haven't seen a lot of female basketball players, like I said.
Difference between the WNBA and other pro leagues is hard to ignore, and it's embarrassing. Imagine if the NBA let players spend months targeting LeBron James with dirty hits and just called it part of the game. The league would step in quickly, handing out suspensions and protecting their star. But the WNBA seems okay letting this cycle go on, thinking any attention is good attention. Because of this, fans are starting to lose faith not just in the games, but in the league itself. When fans say they won't watch without their biggest star because they don't trust the officiating, that's a serious problem, one that goes far beyond ratings and money.